Today I'm going to show you how to make glitter ribbon headbands that a lot of the girls are wearing for sporting events like softball and soccer, and a lot of girls really just wear them for their general hair accessories too. They're really easy to make. They only require a few materials, and I'll show you how to get started. The materials you're going to need: I'm using 7/8 grosgrain ribbon, and you'll need about 15 inches. You might want to adjust that measurement, give or take, depending on the size of the girl that you are making it for. Little girls obviously will need less ribbon. And I'm also using 15 inches of iron-on glitter strips. You will need 15 inches of 3/8 velvet, 5 inches of a non-roll elastic, and you'll need just a few inches of 3/8 grosgrain ribbon. So to get started, you'll also need a pressing cloth like this. Really just any old scrap of fabric will work. And you will need a needle and thread. So to get started, you are going to just move some of these materials out of the way. You are going to start by ironing on the glitter strip to your grosgrain ribbon. So what you're going to do, the glitter strip is actually more narrow than the ribbon. So you're going to pick a ribbon color, of course, that you want to coordinate with your glitter strip. You can use ribbon that is also 5/8, that is exactly the same width as the glitter strip. But for this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a headband that has like that two-tone color effect like that. So you're going to take the glitter strip, and you're going to want to make sure that you line it up so that it is perfectly centered on the grosgrain ribbon. And then you're going to want to cover it with a pressing cloth, and I work with just a few inches at a time so that I make sure that the glitter strip stays centered. So you're going to take your iron and you're going to press it down and just hold it straight down on the ribbon, and you're going to put it there for about, I'd say about 10 to 15 seconds. You don't want to rub it back and forth, otherwise you will move the glitter strip and you won't get it perfectly centered. Once you do your first spot, you can check to make sure you have it the way you want it and adjust if necessary for the next segment. Put your pressing cloth back on, and then put the iron back on. The iron I'm using is on a high setting, and I have the steam turned off. And you're going to continue just a few inches at a time until you get to the end. And then we're going to flip it over and continue to secure it on the other side, just to make sure that the glitter strip has adhered well to the ribbon. You can use any kind of ribbon really that you want for this type of project. I happen to be using grosgrain ribbon in a nice bright pink color, but you can also use a print or some kind of a pattern ribbon. You can use satin. It's really up to you, the look that you're going for. Okay, I think I have that glitter strip pretty well adhered onto the front of the ribbon. And now I'm going to turn it over, and I'm still going to use the pressing cloth. I'm going to cover the back of the ribbon. And this time, you're going to take the iron, and you are going to iron. You can move it back and forth this time because the glitter strip is already adhered onto the other side of the ribbon. But just to make sure that it's nice and secure, I'm going to iron back and forth, probably about 45 seconds or so, because you do not want that glitter strip to become loose or come off the ribbon at all. Okay, now I'm going to use my hot glue gun to attach the 3/8 ribbon strip, or the velvet ribbon strip, to the back of the hairband. And the velvet strip will make it so that the headband will be no slip, and it won't stick to the hair or damage the hair or cause any problems like that. So I prefer to adhere the ribbon with a glue gun. I'm just very careful to apply a very thin strip of glue when I put it on. You can also use something like a heat and bond tape. I prefer to use glue, but if you don't like that method, certainly you can use a narrow heat and bond strip. Just follow the directions for the brand of iron-on fusing that you use for that. So you're going to take your glue gun and apply a few inches of glue, and then take the velvet and glue it on right in the center, and it's going to look like that. And just like when you were ironing on the glitter strip, you're going to want to work with just a few inches at a time to make sure that everything stays centered. One of the reasons I prefer to glue the velvet on is because velvet is very difficult to iron. You tend to crush the velvet, and then you lose the benefits of the velvet helping the headband to be no slip. So I'm just going to continue here, working a few inches at a time, securely gluing the velvet onto the back, and then we'll move on to attaching the elastic to the back. Now we need to attach the elastic, and this headband that I had made before, I used a more narrow elastic, which is fine. It all depends on how you want it to turn out. Either one will work for you. But for this tutorial, I am using a 7/8 wide non-roll elastic. And this is the kind of elastic that is used in waistbands, and non-roll just means that it won't get all crunched up. And I'm using this elastic because this headband is for somebody who is going to be playing softball. So I want to make sure that it will stay secure. I just trimmed off a little bit on the end there that didn't have any glitter strip on there. So this is where you're going to use your needle and thread. You can also machine stitch this if you prefer. I happen to just have a needle and thread available right now though. So I'm going to take the elastic and I'm going to overlap it with the ribbon strip that I made, maybe about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. And now I'm just going to sew it on there. And just make sure that you sew it on pretty securely. You can actually use any type of stitch method that you prefer. You can do loop stitches, or you can do a chain stitch on there. Just make sure it is securely sewed on there. It is going to be covered with a ribbon strip in the next step, so it will look nice and professional and finished off. Okay, now that I've secured one side of the elastic to one side of the headband, I just simply pulled the elastic over to the other side, and I'm starting to sew the ribbon onto the elastic on that side. So I'm just going to give it a few more stitches here to make sure it's nice and secure. And then I'm going to knot off the thread. Okay, now I'm going to trim that, and to give this headband a nice finished look, you're going to want to cover these seams where you just sewed the elastic on. And that is what the little strips of 3/8 ribbon are for. So what you're going to do, move the scissors out of the way. I attach this with glue. Again, you can use whatever method you prefer, but glue works well for me. So I'm going to put some glue on just a little bit of the ribbon strip, and then I'm going to put the headband down so that it covers that seam. See how that does that? Covers it nicely, gives it a nice finished look. And I'm just going to continue to glue this around. Not sure exactly how well you can see what I'm doing here. Kind of have to keep that surface flat, but all I'm doing is putting the 3/8 ribbon and a little bit of extra glue there and just folding it around, just to cover the seam. When you get to the end, all you need to do is trim it. And just use a little bit of glue at the end, and you can fold it over and then put it right into the glue, and that will finish off that side. And then you're just going to repeat it on the other side, the same method, and when you're done you will have a glitter ribbon headband completed.